Welcome, Voltron fans, to 2026 and the first podcast for Let's Voltron, the official Voltron podcast. I'm your host, Marc Morell, and with me is my co-host, Greg Tyler. Welcome, Greg.
Hey, how's it going? It's been a while.
Yeah, we last had a podcast with our cast from Voltron as we worked on My Brother is a Row Beast, right?
Yes, the radio play that was performed at Voltron 2025. We're here in we're recording in February 2026. We are going to talk about toys, right?
Yes, we got exciting news. Exciting news.
Yes, so this is related to the movie.
Yes, and oh boy, we are looking forward to talking more movie in 2026. I can definitely tell you that. Things are ramping up.
Big time. Looking forward to it. It was a lot to talk about. The movie is a thing. We still don't have a release date yet, or a whole lot of definitive news on that. Still no visuals, other than a logo that's been bouncing around. And there's an image of that in the press release that we'll be speaking to here. I do have the text of the press release that I can read when the time is right. But among the recent presentation to shareholders from that company, there is hiding in the slides an image of a new Voltron logo.
Yes, we are excited. I mean, everybody already knows this already because the news stories have come out and all that kind of stuff, and we're kind of late to the
fashionably late.
We got to go to ToyFair as a result of what was happening in the news.
Right.
So the big announcement was, of course, that Hasbro has been brought on to do toys as the licensee for Amazon MGM Studios for the Voltron movie.
Yeah. Would you like me to read through this quick press release?
Yes, please.
Okay. Dated February 4th, 2026, out of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, Hasbro, a leading games, IP, and toy company, today announced a new licensing collaboration with Amazon MGM Studios to produce action figures, toys, and role play for the studio's upcoming live-action Voltron movie. Hasbro aims to bring their vast experience working on legacy franchises to the legendary world of Voltron with products and merchandise inspired by the highly anticipated film. Voltron's long and rich history strategically aligns with our portfolio of iconic 80s brands, said Tim Kilpin, president of Toy, Licensing, and Entertainment at Hasbro. Our collaboration with Amazon MGM Studios will further strengthen the franchise's longevity and unlock new opportunities to engage both longtime fans and new audiences alike. The upcoming Voltron film is directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber, with the story written by Rawson Marshall Thurber and the screenplay by Ellen Shanman and Rawson Marshall Thurber. The film will feature a talented cast, including Henry Cavill, Sterling K. Brown, Alba Baptista, Rita Ora, and more. Producers include Todd Lieberman via Hidden Pictures, Bob Kopler, Rawson Marshall Thurber, and Hobie Films' David Hoberman. And then there's a big thing about Hasbro, their history, and all that good stuff. But that's it. So for the first time in Voltron's 40-plus year history, Hasbro is taking a turn with a Voltron license. So this is a very new direction for Voltron. I mean, Mattel has worked with Voltron over the years. Older toy companies like Panache Place and LJN and HG Toys and various companies back in the day handled Voltron. Trendmasters had it in the 90s. We've had Toynami and a bunch of Playmates Toys and a bunch of other companies. Now it's Hasbro's turn at the table, and it'll be interesting to see what they come up with for the new Voltron movie. So what are your thoughts about that, Marc?
I couldn't be happier that Hasbro has the license. I'm just so thrilled. I have been waiting for a long time to see something that Hasbro could do with Voltron. And from the sounds of things that I got from ToyFair, it sounds like a lot of the Hasbro employees are fans of Voltron.
That's good. Nice when fans have a say in it. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So when you said at the top of the podcast, we went to Toy Fair. We was the royal we, as in you, because you had texted me just days before Toy Fair and said, "I'm going to Toy Fair," and I will say Toy Fair has been a dream of mine since I learned that it existed, probably as a teen or 20 something. I am so glad you got to go. And to our listeners, Marc is holding his press pass up to the camera. So if you're listening to us wherever podcasts are known and loved and found, check out the YouTube version of the podcast. And you too can see Marc Morell's press badge.
So the key here is just because you can get into Toy Fair doesn't mean you can get into all the booths.
Or any of the booths.
So, of course, some of the big players out there, the way it works at Toy Fair is their booth is mostly closed off. They do have some things on display to the general public that walks around, but most of what they do is through a an appointment. You know, you have to get an appointment to get into the booth to see what they're going to be showing off for this year, right?
Hmm.
And I saw, many different groups going into the Hasbro booth and that had appointments and stuff like that. Some of them with camera equipment and everything. So you're
Hmm.
going to get to see other groups that are reporting on the stuff they saw at the Hasbro booth. That'll include things like Transformers, Marvel, Star Wars, and other things. I mean, they also do Beyblades. They also do, you know, Peppa Pig, all these other types of things, right?
Right. So all your
So
typical toy website and YouTube channels like I'm just gonna think of a couple here. The Fwoosh or Toy Newsy, I think it is, or those kinds of websites and YouTube channels, they're gonna have all the inside stuff, or the big YouTubers like Pixel Dan probably have an inside track into some of this stuff. We didn't get that inside track, but you did get to speak with someone from Hasbro about the Voltron announcement, right?
yeah, it happened to be the president of Toys, Licensing, and Entertainment that you mentioned from the article, Tim Kilpin. So
Awesome.
a little bit later on, we're going to play the interview that I had with Tim Kilpin, and he was very gracious to give me that interview, considering I didn't really have an appointment. So that was very nice of him.
Yeah, very nice. And you'd never been to Toy Fair, so you didn't know how all this worked. I mean, your history with this sort of thing is going to large conventions, smaller conventions, and having a press pass that way, and having a little. Once you're in that gate, it's a little easier to access various people, right? As opposed to this. Yeah.
Yeah, and this brought me back to the days of when we first went to New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, and we were just getting accustomed to how things work as press when you go to those events, when you're
Uh-huh.
media,
Yeah.
and how you get in contact with certain outlets and PR groups and all that kind of stuff in order to be able to get in touch with all of these properties and all of the things that they're trying to, show off at these shows.
Uh-huh.
So this year was really a big, just networking thing to try to get my foot in the door so that maybe next year, maybe you and Kim and I all can go to Toy Fair when things will be really heated for the Voltron movie.
Yeah, they may have things to show by that point. I mean, there's no official release date yet, but it does seem that 2027 is very likely because if it were 2026, there would probably be at least something to show at the Hasbro booth, whether we could get in or not.
Right.
And I've not seen any images leak from other outlets with that information. So, yeah, 2027 does seem more likely. And if you were to somehow ask me to tag along, I would not say no, Marc.
Well,
Yeah,
we've
go ahead.
all been to the Javits Center before, and
Yeah, it's
and
oh, that's old hat.
yeah, the Javits Center is very easy to operate in, and it's a fun place to be when there's lots of toys around, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
And
every place is fun when there's lots of toys around.
and I can tell you, compared to the likes of New York Comic Con or San Diego Comic Con, there wasn't nearly as many people there for Toy Fair. Okay, this is
Yeah.
a trade show, so people in the industry are going to get to go as members
Yeah.
of Toy Fair, but it's also the media as well. So between the press and the industry people, there was a lot of people there, sure, but not
Yeah.
nearly as much as what New York Comic Con gets. I mean, I could see the floor. I could I could walk along the floor without running into people. That's how
Wow.
not crowded it was.
That's unheard of. If you don't mind, I'm going to spin through the Wikipedia page for Toy Fair just because, not everybody is as tuned into this stuff as others. I mean, I've known Toy Fair has been around for a long time, but there are a lot of, to most people, and that may not be a big thing. And I don't know the ins and outs of it. So the Wikipedia page for the North American International Toy Fair says it's an annual toy industry trade show held in mid-February in New York City's Jacob K. Javits Convention Center and at toy showrooms around the city. The event is open to the toy trade only, toy industry professionals, retailers, and press representatives. Toy Fair's New York promoters describe it as the largest toy trade show in the Western Hemisphere. So, yeah, it's for the industry, and so this is where toy companies like your Hasbro's, your Mattels, Lego, etc., Playmobil, Playmates Toys, well, whoever's out there, Jack's Pacific, they get together and they meet up with wholesalers, the retailers. So think
Mhm.
of the Walmart and the Target and the various large chains and smaller chains as well.
I was just going to say the day after I went to Toy Fair, I had to go to the Plymouth Meeting Mall, and they have a toy store there. And they have all different kinds of toys. They had dinosaur toys, they had RC toys, they have all kinds of toys, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And the person who was operating the store said that they were going to be going to Toy Fair the next day because
Nice.
Toy Fair is a 4-day conference.
Okay.
And they're a retailer, so they're going to want to
Right.
know how much is it going to cost me wholesale if I want to add something into my store. And they're going to go to all these booths, and then they're going to talk to those people, and those people are going to tell them this is where you order from, this is where the supplies come from, and this is how much it's going to cost you.
Yeah, so I didn't bring visual aids here with this for the podcast, but I happen to collect Toy Fair catalogs, and what they really are retailer catalogs. I have several paper ones from decades past. They're all electronic now, but in the old days, companies like you got an example there, Mark, or
Yeah, yeah. So here's an example from Kobe.
okay,
It's the Kobe catalog, and these are all models. Okay.
okay,
Uh, whether you make model planes, model trains, model cars, model ships, there's a whole catalog full of different models that they have. See?
yep.
And some of these are
And this is a visual
historical and
aid
stuff.
for our listeners. So for our
Right.
listeners, this is a visual aid Mark's holding up. So check out the YouTube channel for the visuals there. I was going to say I have a collection of Toy Fair retailer catalogs from decades past where Voltron's been involved. So I have from Matchbox the 85 and 86 retailer catalogs, which have the classic metal lions and the original vehicle team Voltron and all that stuff. I have an LJN 1986 catalog, Panache Place from 85 and 86, Trendmasters from one of the late 90s years when they were doing the third dimension and things like that. So those are out there. The paper stuff is less common than it used to be. They've gone very electronic as the whole world has, but this is again, you'll see in those catalogs, they'll talk about how many items there are in a shipping case. You get you talk about things being case fresh, if you're a toy collector, where you'll get this big boring brown box and you pop it open and there might be 3 or 4 of the same unit inside. This is
Yeah,
what a Walmart would get a pallet of those things, and then they would open up those boxes and put them on your retail shelves. So
right.
this is where they buy that stuff. That's the long definition of what Toy Fair is all about.
Yeah. So I went to a couple of places. Plush figures are huge at Toy Fair right now, and this one place was a place that sells mostly to zoos because they do wildlife animal plushes, right?
Yeah,
And so I was asking about a wolf that's about this big. How much would that cost in retail? And they said, oh, it might be like $40. And then how much would it be wholesale? Oh, about 19, you know. So
yeah.
you get an idea when you go through these things. Okay, and where have you placed some of your items already? You get to know these people, and you get to find out these are where the stores that we have our stuff at right now, and you can go to any one of those and see how they've set up theirs if you'd like to get an idea, or you can ask us, and we'll tell you how it would be cool to display your stuff at your store if you have enough space.
Yeah, yeah, and in addition to that sort of stuff, you'll see information when they have their displays, which again you were not able to see, unfortunately for Hasbro, but you'll often see signage alongside the display of the toys saying, "Hey, this property is backed by." A feature film or an animated show, or we advertise on 150 television stations in 30 countries or whatever. You might recall, Mark, when there were images of the Playmates toys, the last waves of those toys where they had some items that they proposed that wound up not being made, such as the other three Paladin figures, Pidge, Hunk, and Allura. There was another Roe Beast, a Zarkon figure, and then they had these gigantic lions, the red and blue lions that Keith and Lance could sit inside, the figurines. Those wound up
Right.
not being made, and the reason was that they didn't get enough interest at the retailer level at events like Toy Fair to go
Hmm.
forward with manufacture. So this stuff, all this, toys are a business. They're fun, but they're also a business.
And Toy Fair is an important event in order to launch certain things too. So that's always a factor going into how well things do.
Yep.
So I'd like to show how we got started at Toy Fair. Apparently, every Toy Fair starts out with a parade. So what it is it's a parade of characters that are like mascots, right?
Really.
So yeah, so so the whole thing starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday, right?
Uh-huh.
And at 9:30 is when the parade kicks off. And they just start at the basically the registration area where everybody's picking up their badges, and they go all the way across the main floor to the other side all the way. And
Huh.
they end up on the third floor where they have the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, so I'm going to play for you the opening parade of characters here, and you're going to get to see. There's the Cat in
Daniel
the Hat.
Tiger, yay! Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, right.
I am a huge fan of Daniel Tiger.
Oh, are you?
Heck yes. Quinn loved it. That was the animated follow-on to Mr. Rogers. I'm so glad to see that Daniel's still making a presence at Toy Fair. That's cool.
And you see the
Elf on the
elf on the
shelf.
shelf?
Yep. That is pretty wild. Maybe there'll be a Voltron next year. Neat stuff. I love the people stopping the parade to pose for pictures. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think they could use some etiquette. These business people could use some etiquette lessons from people at New York Comic Con. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't recognize most of these brands because I'm old, but it's neat to see.
Right. A lot of these are geared towards kids.
Oh yeah, I mean they're toys. Hey, strawberry shortcake. Even I
Yes,
recognize
there
that
you
one.
go.
Oh yeah,
There you go. That's a throwback for the rest of us. How about Bluey? You know Bluey,
Bluey.
right?
Heck yes, Bluey, Bingo, Chili, and Bandit. Yep.
And
Oh,
of
the Paw
course the Paw
Patrol.
Patrol.
My gosh, that I would never have guessed 10 years ago that that brand would still be a thing. Same with
And
Teletubbies,
Teletubbies. Yep.
Tubby
There you
Toes.
go.
I wonder how old the little baby that appeared in the sun in the original episodes is now. How old that baby is? Maybe
All right, so
15,
that's
16.
and at the tail end of it was the guy on stilts. Okay.
Perfect. Very nice.
Okay, so there you go. That was the parade.
Very nice.
And then we went from the parade to the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Okay.
And you're gonna notice in the ribbon cutting ceremony, Tim Kilpin is also on the stage with the people from the Toy Association.
Okay.
You can see Tim on the
I was
left.
just thinking this morning, I cannot believe I get to do this for a living. This is unbelievable.
Cool.
We want
And once
to
again,
welcome
there's
you to
strawberry
the
shortcake. I think
Yep.
she's having a very good
ToyFair
time.
here in New York City.
Love it. I'm surprised I'm not using giant safety scissors to cut that ribbon. I mean, they're giant scissors, but you know.
All
Yeah.
gathered in one place, over 7 football fields worth of the most creative and innovative ideas all around the globe that bring fun and joy to
So
children.
for folks who are interested in more information about Toy Fair in general, go to toyfairny.com. It's the official website for the Toy Fair New York event. And they do have a schedule of events there, which includes the very events you've mentioned, Mark.
I'd like to thank a few
Yeah.
people who are instrumental in putting on this show. First, on my left and on my right are the executive committee of the Toy Association.
Yeah, it looks like Hasbro didn't bring any toy lightsabers to cut the ribbon either.
Those are some mighty big scissors, though.
Yeah, they are. Yep, good stuff.
To my right, Kathleen Campusano.
So this is the executive committee.
And for those of you who don't know, last night we ran our annual Toy of the Year award.
Yeah, they're dressed in business suits, which, I mean, it's appropriate for executives, but, at a toy show, I was kind of hoping they'd dress up like, I don't know, maybe army people or something. A little green plastic army men or something.
Yeah.
I do sometimes wonder if I had to do it all over again, if I would have tried to become a toy designer instead of what I do for my day job. But I think it would have been a fun creative outlet, to say the least.
Yes.
We want to officially open the 120th Toy.
Here we go. Here comes the cutting.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Good job, toy people.
And there we go. We just launched Toy Fair.
All right.
So we have a lot of the toy mascots leading the charge there, and then the Toy Association, the executive committee, and the ribbon cutting, and then everybody was let in as of 10 o'clock. And of course, the first place I went to was the Hasbro booth.
Wow.
So I got a lot of pictures around the Hasbro booth and of all the different properties that they cover, obviously.
Uh-huh.
So let's just take a look at all the different properties that are part of Hasbro right now. They had a thing up there, inspiring a lifetime of play. So, they don't just cater to kids, they cater to adults too. Okay, because everybody loves toys, right?
Well, I would hope so.
So they have Hasbro games, Monopoly, they have My Little Pony, Transformers, Beyblade X, Furby, Peppa Pig, Play-Doh, Marvel, Star Wars, Nerf, K-pop Demon Hunters, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, and they just announced a bunch of new partnerships, which include Street Fighter, Harry Potter, and of course, our favorite Voltron the movie, right?
Yep. And
So,
Hasbro did have a Street Fighter license, as I recall, back in the 90s when the movies were coming out, the live action films. They were using the O-ring style G.I. Joe action figure schema for a bunch of Street Fighter kind of crossover stuff. They re-released some of the G.I. Joe vehicles from the 80s in the 90s with Street Fighter deco and all that sort of stuff. So um, that is a property they've had once before. I don't remember where Harry Potter has been over the last 20 odd years, but I know Mattel has had them for a very long time. So I don't know if this is Hasbro's first turn with Harry or not, but um, yeah, so that's a thing. And of course, K-pop
yeah.
Demon Hunters is a big thing. Have you seen that movie?
No, I have not seen K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm sorry.
I've seen it twice and I
And
love it. It is
oh,
a
cool,
wonderful movie. It's really,
cool.
really good. Yes. My daughter loves it. She's a teenager and she really liked it. And the so she and I watched it together. Then she and Amy and I watched it again, and it was a lot of fun. And then of course there's that
Well,
little Voltron thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I did get a chance to also go through the Funko booth, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Funko has a big thing with K-pop Demon Hunters as well. So
Okay.
they've got several different items for K-pop Demon Hunters, not just pop figures, not just those Funko Pop figures, but
That's
lots of
good.
different things.
Cool.
So I did also get a chance to talk to Funko about Voltron and the possibility for Voltron movie, obviously Funko items coming
Hmm.
out when the movie comes out. And of course, that's almost certainly going to happen because, Funko already partners with all the major studios.
Yeah, they do.
So they basically cover everything.
Yeah.
If there's something out there, it's probably got at least a pop figure or something, from
Yeah. At least a
Funko
pop
there.
figure or 50.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there could be many different versions of different properties. So yeah, there's going to be something Funko, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
But we also did get to see other places like Monogram. And I know
Uh-huh.
everybody's familiar with the bag clip, the blind bag that you can get for the bag clips from Monogram.
Yep.
And I've gotten a few of these, obviously there's uh there's the Voltron one, and
Uh-huh.
then here is here's a Laura.
Hmm.
Okay. And then I was able to get um one of the lions as well, which was pretty cool.
Ah, the green one. Nice.
One thing I haven't gotten yet is the actual Voltron, but um, but there's still time for that.
Yeah. I have not collected those myself, but a lot of people really do dig them and they're pretty cute.
But Monogram did tell me that come 2027, they would expect maybe even next year at Toy Fair they might be able to show off some stuff from the Voltron movie for either bag
Hmm.
clips or also they do coin banks. And their coin banks are
Oh,
really
okay.
cool too. Yeah. So
Okay.
I did get some pictures of the coin banks and I,
I do want to point out that before we started recording, Mark, you had mentioned that bag clips are a big deal.
yeah,
It's a really kind of a big niche market in the toy industry right now. And I did point out to you on eBay, there are several listings for uh, what were called Lampo clips or zipper clips, dating back to the 80s. So Voltron has been down that road before through a licensee from that time called HG Toys. So and on the backs they were sold on blister cards, and on the back it shows, hey, you can attach this thing to a backpack, or gloves with little zippers on them, or shirts with zippers on them. So
Right.
yeah, Voltron's been down that road before in its 80s merchandising heyday, and it's neat to see them back again through Monogram and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah,
So we are hoping, Hasbro is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to all of the announcements about merchandise that could come out for the Voltron movie. So, keep your fingers crossed, but I'm hoping for a lot more than that.
yeah. I did want to comment on something. There was an article that came out, or I don't even call it an article, but there was some buzz coming out within the last week or so about Hasbro making a $1 billion ultimatum that the Voltron movie be released theatrically. And I have seen no direct evidence of them issuing any kind of an ultimatum. They are a licensee of the Voltron movie, where Amazon MGM is the licensor. So I think that certainly when an enormous company like Hasbro takes interest in getting a Voltron merchandise license, that may have some sway on how the studio chooses to release the film. But I would be very, very skeptical if any kind of ultimatum was officially made. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
There are other licensees. There are other companies that could have taken the license and not issued a quote ultimatum. So that's not a typical industry thing. So I just wanted to encourage people to take news in air quotes like that with a grain of salt.
Well, it's also, not every movie that's made out there has toys associated with it. Okay?
Right.
I mean, there's lots of motion pictures that are released to the theaters never have a toy line, you know?
Yeah.
And it's mostly because of the nature of the content within that movie, you know?
Yes. And yet they still made Rambo toys back then. What do you think of that?
I'm still mad that we didn't get a whole lot of Fifth Element toys. There should have been more Fifth Element toys back in the
Oh, that would
day.
have been awesome. I would have bought a multi pass to buy Fifth Element merchandise. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway,
But
yes.
but the thing is that when you do get more and more licenses along with your movie for merchandise and for toys and for everything else, that's just going to raise the stakes on the fact that it definitely should be a theatrical release. And
Yeah.
I don't know where the rumor
That's
mills started, you know,
hmm
about it going right to Amazon Prime, but I can almost 100% say that this is definitely going to be a theatrical release because it's gotta be. It's just
I mean
gotta be.
it's going to be a big thing. I mean, the money going into it. I mean, they're going to want as many eyeballs watching that thing for as often as possible. So, I mean, well, again, we're not saying anything official, but it seems
Nope.
very likely that's going to go theatrical.
Right.
But in
So
any case, exciting stuff, and it's neat to see that Hasbro's on board.
so like I said, I did not have an appointment to go into the booth and see all the different toys they have, but I did get a chance to talk to some of the people that came out of their appointments just to see if there was any mention of Voltron or anything, and they said there was none.
Okay.
So what you're going to find out in this interview with Tim Kilpin is that when the announcement comes out that they actually have the Voltron license for the movie, sure, there's probably been some product development going on, but nothing that they're going to be able to show yet because there hasn't even been any visuals yet from like a teaser trailer or a regular trailer for the movie. And you really can't expect toys to come out until you've actually seen something in like a trailer. So I'm expecting that
Yeah.
maybe next year at Toy Fair 2027 that we may get our first look at the Hasbro line. And it still won't include everything because it won't include things that they don't want to tip off about the movie.
Right. I mean, for that matter, we may get sneak peeks as early as New York Comic Con this fall. That's possible. I mean, that is what happened with Legendary Defender, where the initial peek at those toys happened. But that's not a sure thing either. I mean, but it does, yeah, it does seem like we would not see that kind of information until far closer to the release date of the movie. So yeah.
So would we like to see the interview that I had with Tim Kilpin, president of
Yeah, go
Toys
for it.
Licensing and Entertainment at Hasbro?
Go for it.
Hi, I'm here with Tim Kilpin, the president of
Toys, licensing, and entertainment.
at Hasbro, and we're here just to talk real quick about the new Voltron license that came for Hasbro through Amazon MGM for the Voltron movie that's coming out.
Yep.
So I'd just like to get your first thoughts on that.
We're really excited about this. We have been wanting to work with Voltron and work with the property for a lot of years. We have a lot of fans who work here at Hasbro who love this product, grew up with this brand and these characters in this world. And so the fact that we've been able to do this in conjunction with the feature film coming and in conjunction with Amazon Studios is kind of a dream come true. So for the team, they're super, super excited, and I am too. But they're ones who really grew up with it. They're really excited about it. So yeah, we can't wait to get going. We've been working on product for a while, but we're thrilled to be able to talk about it and start getting ready.
For the fans that are out there, it's been a long time wanting to get the Hasbro brand on some of the Voltron toys. What does that mean to you guys to finally have this?
Well, we feel like we feel very good about what we bring when we work with partners on their properties to bring them to life for fans.
Mm-hmm.
We think we do a really good job of that. We think we do a great job of that with our own franchises like Transformers or Marvel or Star Wars with our partners at Disney. Mm-hmm. We spend a lot of time working the details, making sure that we are getting things right, that it's something that a fan can be excited about. And we know fans have very strong opinions about these things, and we get that. We have a lot of fans on the team, so they think about that all the time. So just the idea that this is one of those properties is just, there hasn't been a lot out there for a long time. It's been kind of hard to find it. And then that plus the fact that there'll be a new way to tell the story, it has that opportunity to reach not only the fans who grew up with it and love it, but for a new audience. And those two things combined, that's, I think, where we shine.
How do you think you would handle the reveal of the Voltron robot, considering this might not happen until like 3/4 of the way towards the end of the movie?
I do not know. I can't tell you anything about that. I do not know. I don't know, actually.
And the timing of the toys is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I think we need to work very carefully with that because in any of these kinds of major events, these theatrical film events, the opportunity to help people understand, how it all comes together, to not spoil a surprise. We work with our partners all the time on those kinds of things. So I don't know what that's going to look like yet, or what the timing will look like yet.
Okay.
But trust me, we'll be working very closely with our partners at Amazon Studios.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for spending some time with Let's Voltron podcast here at ToyFair.
No problem. Thanks, Marc.
Okay, so you've seen the interview now. What are the key points you took from Tim's interview?
The key points are that they're excited to have the license. Many of the Hasbro people are Voltron fans from days of long ago or very recent days. And there's a whole lot that they can't say yet because they just can't say it yet. They did say in the press release that they were planning to do action figures, toys, and role play, which is the same product mix that is often done for their other brands like Star Wars, where you've got your action figures, your vehicles, and the role play items like lightsabers. It's similar to what Playmates Toys did for Legendary Defender with the action figures and the lions and the role play items when they first rolled out, like the lion mask and the toy Voltron sword and all that. So, I mean, we know from the very broad strokes what the mix is going to be in the product lineup. How that's going to shake out, they can't really say. And what are things going to look like? They can't really say. So. Is that the high points, Mark?
Get used to this again,
Yes.
okay? Because remember when we went through this with Voltron Legendary Defender and DreamWorks,
Yeah.
and there were so many NDAs, and nobody can say anything about anything.
Yep.
So what you're going to get is only what they'll give you.
Yep. They'll tell you when they're good and ready.
Yeah. But the good news is it's coming.
Yeah.
And while we're not going to give away the farm on everything, it's still it's very encouraging because they want to be very careful about, doing what the fans would love for them to do, which is provide something that not only caters to the older generations that knew Voltron from before, but the new generation that's going to see it for the first time.
Right. I mean, it's just like the movie itself, where we know virtually nothing about it, other than what has been released in the press so far, which is not a whole lot in terms of content for the film. But obviously, when you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars making a movie, you want to cast as broad a net as you can to get the largest possible viewing audience that you can. And so, yes, you're going to want to appeal to people of all ages. People who've never seen Voltron before need to glom onto it immediately in the story and be hooked by the film on its own merits. People
Yeah,
who have loved it from the past. Hopefully, it'll engage them again and all that good stuff.
right. With the new stuff that Hasbro has taken on as partners, including Harry Potter, Street Fighter, K-pop Demon Hunters, and now Voltron, they already were doing pretty well with their other partners, Magic the Gathering, Marvel, Transformers, all that kind of stuff. And they recently came out with their quarterly report and everything, and it shows they're expanding partnerships, right?
Hmm.
And the expanding partnerships includes the Harry Potter, the K-pop Demon Hunters, the Street Fighter, and the Voltron. And in that is an image that looks like
Yeah, the new logo.
the new logo.
Yeah, and that does seem to be similar to an image that I recall us seeing. Um, I don't remember if this was at Voltcon or not, where we saw a logo on the side of a film camera,
Yes.
and it looked like that exact logo.
Yeah.
So this does at least seem to be a tentative logo, and the actual film logo may differ when it's released.
Right.
But yeah, there's something.
Yeah, we've seen versions that are very similar to this logo. We saw it on the camera, we saw it here, and we've seen it in other things we're not sure are official yet. And like you
Right,
said, this could be only just one version of it, whereas it could be even a greater developed version of it coming.
right.
So this is all encouraging because it's a new generation logo as compared to, this logo that you're used to.
Yeah, it's not the rainbow logo that looks like it could, with a lettering, it looks like it could come from a hairband or something from the 80s, like a Def Leppard kind of logo. Every time I see the 80s logo, I think of some rock bands from back then, but and their logos. But yeah, so some potentially really exciting stuff.
Right.
It is interesting that the press release speaks specifically to the movie. It doesn't say it's a license to everything Voltron. That doesn't mean it isn't necessarily a license to everything Voltron, but if it were, I think they would have probably pointed that out in the press release. But whatever the case, they're in, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it.
And Hasbro with the result of all these new partnerships and everything is doing really well. Within the last 6 years, their stock is higher than it has been. So if your stock is higher than it's been for 6 years, that's saying something. You're doing something right.
Yeah, I I don't really have any comments about their financial uh,
Right.
growth and all that stuff, but yeah, I mean, from a business perspective. It sounds like they're pushing all the right buttons.
And one of the panels that I saw at Toy Fair, uh, one lady had mentioned that when it comes to licensed properties for the toy industry, they are seeing a 15% growth year over year. So if you have a licensed property like Hasbro has a lot of them, those types of toys may do better than something that isn't.
Unless you've got a brand that is already a legacy brand that already has a built-in audience, like brands they own, such as Transformers, uh,
Hmm.
for example, or My Little Pony. I wonder if there'll be the whole Brony era. I'm trying to think of a Voltron twist on that. Voltroni? Nah, we don't want to go
No,
there.
no.
But yeah. So yeah, potentially exciting stuff. I remember you and I talking. I don't remember if we talked about this directly on the podcast or just one on one, but I've often thought with all the movie news, because we've been hearing movie news on and off for years. To me,
Yep.
it becomes more real when you have an announcement about a licensing partner, because that's when you know you've got money thrown into it, not just by the production company, which is substantial, but by other companies that have a stake in it too. So this is a real thing. So there are people out there who still say, "Oh, there's no movie happening." Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And we can't believe we get to say that after all these years too. That is just wonderful.
Yeah,
We can't wait. We just can't wait.
I was just going to say, I hope the movie's version of the Voltron pilots and the lions and the combined robot and the villains and the whatever monstrosities they may battle, I hope they look super, super cool. I'm sure they will, but the reason why I'm saying I hope is because okay, I'll admit it, I'm a Voltron nerd, but I loved the recent Power Rangers movie from several years ago. The story was fun. I liked the characters and all that, but my goodness, those Zords and that Megazord and Goldar and all that, they were pretty ugly. Um, so I believe very strongly that the Voltron designs are going to kick a lot more robot hiney than the Power Rangers movie did, um, so that we can get some cool toys. That's all.
And here's the thing. I went when I went to Toy Fair, I was wearing my Voltron jersey. The jersey that I mean, of all the things that I've ever had for Voltron, that's what
Uh-huh.
I get the most comments about is that Voltron jersey.
Yeah.
So that hockey jersey from Geeky Jerseys, right? That has always been
Uh-huh.
available on the Voltron store, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
if you're familiar with it, it has the big 84 on the back with Voltron on the back and everything, and the different colored arms, and it even has the numbers of each of the lions.
Hmm.
It's a great jersey, and I got a lot of comments when I went through the floor at Toy Fair. People saying, "I love your jersey," and
Wait, there's more.
I also had the backpack.
Oh my gosh, you're hardcore, man.
Okay. Yeah, so this is you can see the logo over here.
Yeah, yeah,
This is the Loungefly Voltron backpack, right?
yeah.
And even when I went to the Funko booth, because Funko owns Loungefly, um,
Okay.
they were saying they were really proud of how they did the Voltron backpack. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
people were telling me they loved the backpack, they loved the jersey. I got into just discussions with people about Voltron because they didn't know a whole lot about it.
Yeah.
So it was great to just be able to spread the word of Voltron at Toy Fair.
Nice. I'm starting to think that you might be a Voltron fan. You should start a podcast. What
You know what Jeremy
what's that?
Corey always called us?
What's that?
Brand ambassadors.
Well, I guess. Well,
I
with
mean,
your awesome jersey and backpack, you certainly fit the bill.
yeah, I mean, I didn't look the same as everybody else at Toy Fair. I can tell you 100%. I looked original.
Original is such a nice word. I like that.
Yeah, because nobody else was wearing Voltron stuff, that's for sure.
Losers, losers, lion
But
losers. Sorry. Yeah.
but it was really nice to be able to spread the word of Voltron at Toy Fair. It really was. I hope next year I am going to be far from the only one spreading the word of Voltron next year.
Yeah, yeah. That'll be fun. Yeah, I would love to tag along. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, we're going to have to look into getting, you, me, and Kim all going and with some actual camera equipment and getting the actual appointments.
Yes. Now that you know the drill and knowing's half the battle. Oops, that's another Hasbro
Oops.
franchise.
Oops. G.I.
Yep, they own
Joe.
that one. That's right. Huh. Anyway, yeah,
So,
Hasbro is actually licensing out their own brands to other makers these days too. I don't know if you've noticed, but there are some Transformers items being made by other companies. For example, Mattel is making Hot Wheels replicas of some of the classic Transformers in their vehicle modes.
mhm.
There's another company that's done they've got the gigantic self-transforming Robo-Send, Optimus Prime, and Megatron and Bumblebee, and all this other stuff, Grimlock. And
Yeah,
there's another company that's doing a less expensive Optimus Prime like that. And then they've got the Loyal Subjects doing remakes of their Mask toys from the 80s. And they own Power. Hasbro owns Power Rangers. They own the property. They're the IP
yeah.
owner now. Playmates Toys is a licensee for those.
Yeah, I was going to say, while I was there, I visited Playmates Toys
Okay.
because I got to see our old friend Jeff Trojan.
Nice. He's been on the podcast multiple times. Yeah.
Yes. So if everybody remembers our podcast with Jeff Trojan from Playmates Toys, he's been in the industry for 30 years, and
Mhm.
he knew Tim Kilpin, and Tim knows him. They go way back. They've worked
Nice.
together and they've collaborated together between Hasbro and Playmates Toys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Presumably for Power Rangers, etc. Yeah.
yes, these types of toy collaborations happen a lot in the industry. So I mean, it's amazing. It's a small community, they all know each other.
Yeah. Yeah. I forgot another licensee of Hasbro is Super 7. They've been making reaction figures and reaction plus figures of Transformers and G.I. Joe characters too. So you might remember there was a crowdfunding about a year or two ago that did not succeed for a Cobra mothership, this gigantic dish-shaped Cobra head ship that was seen in one episode of G.I. Joe and the opening
Mhm.
main title sequence of almost every episode of G.I. Joe. So yeah, Hasbro is they get around, whether as a licensee, a licensor, or a toy maker itself. Yeah.
Yeah, I am just so excited to have Hasbro doing Voltron stuff. So I can't wait to see it. And I'm going to be there picking up everything that I can pick up.
Yeah, it should be exciting. Yeah, to me, this is a big deal, not just because I love toys, as my background of the old Panache Place toys in our video version of this podcast will attest, but also because again, it makes the movie seem even more real. You can see press announcements, and because it took forever for Batman to be made as the feature film that came out in 1989. Many years for that movie to come to fruition from initial press
Right.
announcements. The same for Voltron. They were movie rumors and news for 20 years, if not more, before all this has come along. But when you start seeing licensing partners, that's when the stuff gets real. So this is pretty
Right.
exciting.
And you and I can go back to doing toy reviews as part of the podcast again.
Woo! I've got to get my
Is
my little table set up again someday.
Do you happen to remember what our most popular toy review video was on YouTube?
Oh, easily. It was the ratcheting joints video. It was the the video where you could make a drinking game of the number of times I mentioned the term ratcheting joints. It was the review of the Playmates Toys Voltron Legendary Defender Legendary Lions, the 5 lions that could form the 16-inch Voltron.
Yes, and do you remember how many hits that got on YouTube?
Last I checked, it was around 1.4 million or so.
I think it's closer to 1.8 million now.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
But I thought that was, pretty telling that if we can get a video that gets 1.8 million views, imagine what a Hasbro video could do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what in the world possessed the YouTube algorithm to snag on that video, but my gosh, the thing went crazy.
Yeah. So that was nice.
Yeah, I just hope that a normal podcast gets that kind of attention someday.
So we are looking forward to a lot of things coming from Hasbro for the Voltron movie, and we want to really say thank you to Tim Kilpin for joining us at Toy Fair for the podcast. So thank you,
Yeah,
Tim.
yeah, and frankly, thanks to the Toy Fair people for admitting you in with that press pass that got you in the door to begin with. That's pretty exciting.
Right. And we look forward
Yeah,
to more toy fairs in the future now that we've got our foot in the door there.
booyah. Was there anything that surprised you at Toy Fair?
Okay. Yes. Obviously the plushies are really big. You remember the tie, what was it? The
Beanie Babies?
Beanie Babies and stuff
Yep.
like that from the old days. Well, Ty now makes these plush balls that bounce, right? And they
Okay.
make it for every property out there. It's amazing. So I talked
Okay.
to the Thai people, and they said that if they do the Voltron movie, they would probably come out with those bounceable plush Thai things that are about this big, and
Okay.
then they would come out with the smaller plushies and then the larger plushies.
Huh. Okay.
So that's the plushies were big. I mean, there was many different places that had plushies and everything. Um, Obviously, action figures are going to be big, so action figures were everywhere. There was a couple of places where I saw things like jewelry. I saw props. I saw games. I saw kits where you could make your own things, and especially
Is that
things
like
like
those
Harry.
subscription things like you had for
Um,
R2D2?
it could be subscription things, but I don't know. I think you can just buy them individually as well. But
Okay.
I didn't get some of the catalogs from some of the places where it's like you're gonna find these in like a Michael's or a Joanne, something where uh, make your own kind of stuff.
Okay. Got
You
it.
might find it in those types of places. Um,
Hmm.
so a lot of these, were all based on licensed materials. So like I said, Peanuts, Harry Potter, Disney, Star Wars, all kinds of things. And
Yeah.
one of the things that surprised me that looks like it's pretty popular is fart monsters.
Fart monsters. Is that anything like Skibbity Toilet?
I don't know. I don't
I
know,
see it
but
all over Walmart, but I have no clue what in the heck it is.
yeah, I really don't know, but that surprised me.
Huh.
So so look forward to some things that might be kind of strange coming in 2026.
Oh man, I hope they make a farting black lion.
Yeah, I don't know.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah. There's tons of stuff out there. I just wish there was more toy stores. You know what I mean?
Oh gosh,
I
yes.
wish we had
Uh,
Toys R Us back. We need more of that kind of stuff.
Toys R Us, Johnny's Toys.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
more places. The problem is the malls are kind of going away. you know?
Hmm.
So you can't have like a KB Toys like you used to have in the malls.
Yeah.
Lionel Kitty City, I remember those.
Oh yeah.
Toys R Us. The most places that have toys now are like Walmart, Target, and a few smaller toy shops.
Yeah. I remember my favorite toy store as a kid. Lots of people love KB. KB was not a big deal for me because KB was so much more expensive than just about any other store because I had the mall overhead. But my favorite toy store by far was Children's Palace, also known as Child World, where their toy
Hmm.
stores looked like castles on the outside. I thought that was such a magical experience to walk into that store. But I guess we'll still maybe they'll make a children's castle of lions. Hmm,
Well, you
probably
know,
not.
New York always had FAO Schwartz, right?
Yeah, we went there a couple years back. It was interesting to see. It was actually smaller than I expected, but still really cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They still had the keyboard that Tom Hanks danced on in Big.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am looking forward to seeing, more Voltron stuff out there. And whether you have to buy it online or in a store, a brick and mortar store, that's fine with me. I just really would like to see a lot more of it out there.
Yeah. Yep. And it sounds like it's happening. So
Yeah.
just like the movie is.
So look forward to more podcasts, hopefully this year, about things that we learn about either the Voltron movie or more licensees that are coming for the Voltron movie for whenever it's supposed to come out. Hopefully, we'll see things like an announcement of maybe a date, maybe a teaser trailer, maybe another type of trailer. Who knows?
Yeah, and who knows if we'll get any kind of access. We had an amazing level of access to people who had worked on Voltron Legendary Defender. I would never have expected in a million years that we'd be able to interview multiple times Joaquin Dos Santos, Lauren Montgomery, and interview various voice actors, Andrea Romano, Christine Bien, uh, Tim Hedrick, so many amazing people on that show.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get to chat with Ross and Marshall Thurber at some point. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know, but wherever the movie's happening for a premiere, I'm going to be there. Okay, so
Okay.
wherever you tell me to go, I'm going.
Yeah, it's going to be in a back alley. I'm there.
Okay, wherever you want me to go. We'll see you all next time on.
Let's Voltron.